Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Sisa. Today is Chaf Aleph Adar Rishon. The Rebbe would always quote the pasuk on the 21st of the month, Ach Toiv Yisrael, only good things for Jewish people, and for Klal Yisrael, and for everyone as an individual. And for Hasidim and Chabad, it's an important Shabbos. This is the last week, Kisisa, 32 years ago, Leiv, when the Rebbe Fabrained Kisisa and all the talks leading up to the Parshas of Kisisa. It's the final edited Sicha we have of the Rebbe. The final Farbrengen was Parshas Vayakel, which hasn't been edited yet. The story to still be completed. And nothing's by chance, like the Rebbe would say. And so the Farbrengen of the year 1992 is a very powerful idea. And the Rebbe speaks about it the whole week leading up to Shabbos. And we spoke about the similar idea many years ago, is the Gemara brings down about Mar Ukva, which was a Rosh Galuta in the times of the Talmud in Bavel. And it says that he had a light emanating from him. And Rashi quotes different ideas of why he had a light emanating. It doesn't say his source to these ideas. One is, he says, like this week's Parsha, just like Moshe Rabbeinu had light emanating from him, like it says at the end of the Parsha, that when he came down with the second tablets, he had Keren Or Panav, so much so that the Jewish people, the light was so powerful, he had to cover himself with a mask. So Mar Ukva also, who taught Torah to the Jewish people, had a light emanating from him. But to the other extreme, like in this week's Parsha, we have the extremes. Rashi brings out that Mar Ukva had an obsession with another person's wife, and that obsession led him to actually becoming physically ill. And when he was tempted at a situation that he could have given in and she was ready to be with him, so the Gemara, Rashi tells us that he withheld and he didn't give in to his Yetzer Hara, and because of that, because he was able to withstand the temptation, a light emanated from him. And we explained at the time that we don't ever know the extreme, the spectrum of where light comes from. And that we see from this week's Parsha. This week's Parsha is called Parshas Sisa. That the Parsha that the Rebbe always says gives us an insight to the name. And the name is to lift up the head. Powerful idea. Kisisa Rosh, you want to lift up the Jewish people. But if you look in the inside of the Parsha is all talking about the negative. Our lowest moment as a nation is when we build the Egel Hazav, we build the golden calf. Anything else that we've done after that pales comparison. Literally within 40 days after we received the Torah in Har Sinai, leave Mitzrayim, leave Egypt. We were able to, it says, get rid of, even to uproot from us any evil that was done, even from the sin of the tree of knowledge. And within 40 days we build a golden calf and everything starts again. So seemingly the Parsha is anything but Kisisa. Kisisa is an uplifting moment. This is our lowest point. And then the end of the Parsha, like I said, talks about Moshe Rabbeinu, that when he comes down with the second luchos, which seemingly we know the second luchos, the second tablets, were on a much lower level than the first tablets. The Torah tells us that the first tablets were written by Hashem, Ma'aseh Elikim, miraculous. And when it comes to the second tablets, like Rashi says, Hashem tells Moshe, Psalacha, you have to make, you broke the first luchos, you have to make the second luchos. But it's not going to be on the level of the first luchos. And nevertheless, when Moshe comes down with the second luchos in the completion of this week's Parsha, he has Keren Or Panav, he has a light emanating from him. And the Rebbe says, this is the whole point. When the Malachim and Moshe Rabbeinu came to receive the Torah, the Malachim tell God, why are you giving the Torah to the Jewish people? Give it to us in heaven. And Moshe Rabbeinu, God tells him, answer them. And Moshe says, what does it say in the Torah? The Torah is not in a concept, it's not spiritual ideas. Torah is part of the kavanah, part of the intention. Like the Rebbe says, that we have a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning is the intention of why God created the world. Then there's the living of life, and then there's the completion of it, that's geula, that's redemption. And when the purpose of creation, including the angels, including all the worlds, was that we should we make a dir b'tachtonim in this world. And making a dir b'tachtonim is real life. Like we learn about the kior, the faucet. The Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to include the copper that was made by the women as a mirror so they could look attractive to their husbands during the hard times of the exile. He said, I understand that they had to have mirrors, but why is that part of the Beis HaMikdash? Why is that part of the Mishkan? And Hashem says, no, specifically I want that part of the Mishkan. This is real life. It's not just the spirituality that the angels want to be in their spiritual place where they have no temptation, no Yetzer Hara, and they serve Torah. Torah is part of the mirrors. It's the story of the Egel. The toich, the emtza, what is going on in life, that's part of why God created the world, that we should reach tshuva, we should reach 13 attributes of mercy. And therefore the whole parsha is kisisa, because when you look at the story, the parsha, from a bird's eye view, this is an uplifting moment. That even in our lowest point, when we build an egel, we could get out of that through tshuva, we could rectify it, till the point that when the end of the parsha is that not in the beginning of the parsha do we have light emanating, like Mar Ukva, according to the second explanation of Rashi. that the light emanates when we go through challenges in life, when we overcome the difficulties of life. Then Moshe Rabbeinu comes down and he emanates life. But in the time when Moshe came down, then we still weren't able to handle the light. He had to cover it. But now we're getting close. The Rebbe says to the Gula Mitzvah Shlema, to the true redemption. We're coming to the end, to the sof of the story. When we come to the Geula, now Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't have the covering, and the light that emanates every single Jew can and will and should connect to. And like I said, this is the final week that we have an edited Sicha. We're going from Parshas Sisa to Parshas Vayakel, the parsha that talks about gathering all the Jewish people. That Hashem should gather all the Jewish people from all over the world, and we should stand together with the Rebbe here in Yerushalayim. The Rebbe should complete the unedited version of Parshas Vayakel. Should be edited. It should be a complete story that we come to the sof, the end of the purpose of creation, shining as Jews, each person an angel, each person a diamond, emanating light of our whole avodas Hashem throughout the time of Golus, throughout the time of creation. Good Shabbos, and we should have a Geula week.